I basically, my whole business became that. Like I just focused 100% on SEO, 100% on PPC and just didn't do anything else, cut out direct mail, cut out everything
Yeah.
else. And that really allowed me to do what I want to do and build the lifestyle I wanted to do. So I think, for anyone who's like kind of struggling, figure out what you're good at. It's going to be different for everyone, and just try to do more of what you are versus try to be someone else.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Passive Cash Flow Podcast. I have an OG original guest here, Tim Oppelt. How we doing today, Tim?
Oh, gee, I like that, man. That's a great intro. You should be like an announcer, dude. I love that.
Thank you so much, my friend. Tim, I wanted to have you on the Passive Cash Flow Podcast because we got started a little bit in real estate. I know I helped you get started. You worked for People's Capital Group years ago, kind of putting signs on telephone poles, completely in the trenches, like didn't know a thing about anything, just met you at a real estate networking event, fresh out of high school, college, or where were you fresh out of?
I was in college.
You were in college, you were getting that degree, doing real estate on the side, and you're like, hey man, I just want to do this wholesale thing. I think I could do very well with it. Where do I start? And I think I gave you a big box of signs and a stapler and said, go. But that's kind of the beginning. And now you have that business operating. You've been able to step away from it, start a marketing company. You live in San Diego. So a lot of things have changed. You've been truly able to accomplish your entrepreneurial vision that you had, maybe a decade ago, maybe 8 years ago when we first met or so, right?
Yeah. It's crazy to think about, man. I'm excited to dive into it because, this is a special podcast for me. I've done a handful of them now, but like, you say I'm the OG, but to me, you're the OG. Like you're the first person, like the beginning of my journey into real estate. So I'm forever grateful for you, and I'm excited to do this, man.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Yes. There's always another OG, and then there's an OG that I learned from as well. So no, that's exciting, and that we've always had that dream of being entrepreneurs, and it's such a vague word, entrepreneur, and it's so challenging, and I think me and you can both be transparent also about the challenges we face as entrepreneurs, because some mornings you wake up and you're just like, man, I got a lot on my plate. I got a lot of responsibility. It's not all fun. I don't really feel that burning passion you maybe had a few years ago when you started the business. So I know you've had challenges with that. So I want to break into that a little bit. I also want to talk about wholesaling and real estate as well, but that's maybe not as much fun. It's just the emotional challenge of being a good entrepreneur, building your business every day, being an honest businessman, treating others as you want to be treated. And, keeping that fire going, right? That's the heart. How do you keep that fire going? I know you had challenges with that. So maybe let's go back into it. Let's start from the beginning. Explain how you got started in real estate.
I remember while I was in college, I went to the college in New Jersey, right? We're both from Jersey. Every Saturday morning, I would wake up at like 4 or 5 a.m. I would take Aaron's beautiful box of bandit signs, and I would go up to beautiful Newark, New Jersey at like places where I clearly like don't fit in. And I would be putting up signs on the poles for like 3 hours every morning. I went that early in the morning because I was worried about get too much attention to me or whatever. So I did that every week for months and months. It was an hour and a half drive from college up to Newark, New Jersey. So, I mean, that's it, paying your dues, right? And then, did I get paid a lot? No, probably not. But it was a great learning opportunity for me. That's when you were doing like short sales, you're doing wholesaling and investing at the time. And I was really, I kind of learned what it was from like YouTube videos and whatnot. And yeah, you just kind of taught me the business, showed me how it actually happens, like how you actually get paid and things like that. And yeah, basically I did that up until I moved, I believe, to Delaware. Yeah. My fiance got into grad school down there. So then I packed up and moved down there. And then that's when I started my business for myself, taking the wisdom that you gave me and started applying it. And I know you kind of helped me as well, kind of funded my business a little bit in the beginning. I was happy to give you a good return on that, I'm pretty sure. But
I did very well in that investment. Yes, that was one of my best investments. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So Yeah, basically that's it, man. Like, I don't know how deep you want me to go into it. I can go year by year. I can give you like a 30-second summary, man. It depends. But yeah, basically my whole wholesaling business is in Delaware, still is today, even though I live in San Diego. It's completely virtual. I have a partner doing things there. So I think it's kind of a unique setup that I have. But yeah, I'm happy I'm doing it still.
Yeah, no, that's great. And, wholesaling is a great way to get started in real estate, stapling the poles to the telephone signs, we buy houses, it's not a great way to get deals right now, but back then it actually worked. And I remember, showing you how you got paid on the HUD, how you protect your fee, how to actually structure a wholesale transaction. They're all a little different, estate sales, short sales, foreclosures. So that was interesting stuff. But what I really want to break into is not so much how to staple signs to telephone poles, but you could really teach people.
Sure.
You're great at that, but you're a great stapler. So
Thank you.
what you're doing now doesn't work out. You could always, but what I want to focus on is, you were able to actually build that business up, and it was a small little wholesale business. And you had, I think I gave you like $1,500 in cash or something, like that. And it was incredible what we were able to do with that. And then you repaid me in full in like a year, plus interest. And it was a great investment on my end. So it was incredible what you could do with the seed capital. And then within about 3 years, you were able to kind of step away from that business, and it's still profitable. Live in San Diego, a warmer, nicer place, arguably, than rural Delaware, and more amenities. We'll say more amenities.
Easy argument. No, it's a nicer. It's 100 in every way. It's more expensive. That's
definitely more expensive. That's for sure. So that's what people really want to learn about, right? How do you develop a small business with $1,500 in an industry you just learned? You were just the guy stapling the signs to the poles. Yeah. And then within 3 or 4 years, make enough to move to an expensive city and live, it's not like you're living like a king, but you're living comfortably,
Yeah. 100%. So it's I'm glad I'm on this podcast now. So a good example. So just 2 weeks ago, we closed a $90,000 wholesale assignment deal in Delaware. So I have a partner who I split 50-50 with. So I took home, it ended up being, I think I got like 39 after, because we double closed on it. So it was like 39. Mm-hmm. I didn't have to do any work whatsoever. Like literally, I don't even know the address of the home. I never talked to the seller. I literally did nothing. I didn't even do any marketing for it at that point, because it came from my website. So my probably total time involved was 30-minute phone call with my partner about it. And that was it. And it's a $40,000 check. Granted, that's like, doesn't happen all the time, right. But to me, that's my goal, is to have it passive. I'm not doing 100 deals a year, but I can bring in some passive income without having to do really any work at this point. I have the freedom of time. So yeah, I mean, it took a while to get there for sure. I'm happy to go into that 100%.
Well, I think a big part of that is developing the marketing system that drives the leads. And that was always kind of your specialty. I know you were very good at the paid ads, and I had hired your company a little time to do that when you were kind of starting out. And so you created a lead system. So kind of break into that. How did you create a lead system that to this day apparently is still driving really great leads? You just made a great wholesale fee.
It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, it's no secret, right? So I got a website, Carrot, I like them a lot. I work with them as well, but like they do SEO training, and I host a website on that platform. And basically I put a lot of work in, probably like 2015. Honestly, I put a lot of work into my site up front. Mm-hmm. And then I paid someone to basically do backlinks for me, just an SEO company, a few $100s a month. And then that's honestly all I did. And probably Delaware is a little bit easier to rank than, let's say, New Jersey, right? You're trying to rank for all New Jersey, but yeah, that's what I did. And basically you rank on Google. So if someone searches "sell my house fast" or "cash for houses," mm-hmm. or, "stop foreclosure" or whatever, your website comes up, they fill out a form, and then you call them up. Basically that's it. And then you can, SEO is kind of free once you get it dialed in, or you can pay Google as well to kind of show up on ads. So I do both of those, and it seems to be producing a lot of leads these days. Everyone else and their mother is doing direct mail and cold calling. For me, I tried that, but it just didn't work as well. Maybe just my personality wise. You do have to kind of know what you're doing and like being behind a computer. I don't think you personally would enjoy doing the internet marketing side of things. You're like the sales guy. For
Yeah,
me, I like that kind of analytical stuff.
sure.
Yeah.
That's good. And that's the thing too. I think you hit the nail on the head too. You're in a probably a less competitive market. So there's a lot to be said for picking a good market where there's not a huge amount of competition, yet you're not too far from like Washington, D.C., kind of Philadelphia area. So you probably get a little bit of growth from there, I guess. But, so that Delaware market, you're really not competing with much. Was that one of the reasons you ended up down there with that business? Or how did you end up down in rural Delaware?
Yeah, just honestly, just because my fiance got into grad school there. So luckily it wasn't in San Francisco, because then I don't know what I would have done. But for now, I mean, I could, like, I live in San Diego, my business is in Delaware. I could do this theoretically in any state in the country if I
Right.
wanted to.
Mhm.
Right. So, I think there is something to be said for the market. And the reason why I haven't, I mean, there honestly isn't a great reason. I could do it. It's just a matter of like what you enjoy. And I will say, like, I don't know if this is really
Many
what you're
hours you
looking
want to
for
work.
here.
Yeah.
What'd you
Yeah.
say?
It's how many hours
Oh,
you want to work. It's like you were saying, it's your time. Yeah. But go ahead.
yeah. I mean, for me, like, what has helped me the most become successful is like figuring out, for like an entrepreneurial standpoint, like what I'm good at. And I was doing for a while in Delaware, I was doing bandit signs, I was doing direct mail, I was doing online ads, and like some were okay, some weren't, and I just like was plateauing. And then once I accepted the fact and understood, like became self-aware enough to know, hey, look, I like doing internet marketing. I know you and I were drinking wine in New Brunswick, and I was like a little tipsy, and that's when we were breaking it down, and you were like, hey, Tim, like really at the core of it, what you're good at with your business is internet marketing. And I
Mhm.
was like, right. So I basically, my whole business became that. Like I just focused 100% on SEO, 100% on PPC, and just didn't do anything else, cut out direct mail, cut out everything
Yeah.
else. And that really allowed me to do what I want to do and build the lifestyle I wanted to do. So I think, for anyone who's like kind of struggling, figure out what you're good at. It's going to be different for everyone, and just try to do more of what you are versus try to be someone else.
Absolutely. And what you enjoy doing as well. Like I enjoy doing these podcasts. I enjoy speaking on stage. I enjoy talking to clients and investors. And I really don't enjoy the online stuff, doing the SEO, doing the marketing. I've done that for a while. I'm not particularly good at it. I've taken a class on YouTube marketing and everything. But
Right.
at the end of the day, I just ended up hiring companies to do it. I just hired an SEO company for $3,000 a month to get, bang up SEO. So, it's definitely something that companies pay for. It's definitely something you need. But if you don't enjoy doing it, boy, that's the other thing about an entrepreneur. If you force yourself to do too many things you hate doing and aren't good at doing, eventually you're going to quit. You're going to be like, man, screw, if you made me do SEO marketing behind a computer 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, I'd be like, no, this is not what I want to do with my time. Right.
Right.
And, vice versa. If you had to like, just do a bunch of like public speaking engagements all the time, it might not, I don't know, maybe you might get used to it, but who knows, but it's not your cup
Yeah.
of tea, right? It's not you
Definitely not.
doing. So, and if you are doing what you love doing, what I think God put you on this earth to do, which is hard to find, we're all looking for it. If you're doing something roughly around that, which I think is public speaking for me, engaging with people for me, then you find success more quickly, and you enjoy doing it. I've run my business two different ways. I've woke up in the morning and really dreaded my day and been like, oh my God, I have 8 hours of YouTube marketing I got to put together today, and I've had other days where I've woken up and been so excited about it, so excited to do what I got to do with the next few steps in my day. And you're just such a better entrepreneur, better business leader, better person when you're excited about what you're doing and doing what you're put on this earth to do. So I'm glad you found that out over a few glasses of wine in New Brunswick there.
Yeah, man. I will say it's funny. I was like looking over our financials, and like, my business isn't like, I'm not like a big guru. Like I'm not crushing it like low six figures, right? Like 20 deals a year, something like that. And this past year, I made just as much money in revenue than I have in any other year doing my business full time. And I'm doing nothing.
Mhm.
So I was doing it full time and I'm doing nothing and I'm making the same amount. And it's just so it makes me angry actually that that's the case. And I just think like I remember back, it had a turning point when I was in Delaware. I was like you were saying, I dreaded getting out of bed. Like I really didn't like doing the business, and I was depressed and I was unhappy and kind of lonely. And once we had our conversation and then I kind of reflected more and was honest with myself, I realized like I don't want to go out to these sketchy homes all the time. Like I'm not a sales guy. I don't want to be doing direct mail, and like everything was so up and down. And then I made the decision, I just want to do internet marketing. I actually do enjoy it. Most people don't, but I do.
Right.
So I built my entire life around that. I actually started a marketing company, which has a kind of a more consistent business model, which I enjoy. I found a partner in Delaware who does all the work, who likes the sales guys. He's kind of like an Aaron. He does that.
Yeah.
He does all the work. I stay in my lane.
Right.
And I mean, I'm making just as much money as I ever was doing all that work. And I'm much happier now. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's the name of the game, finding what you're good at doing, executing, 10X on that, just executing as best you can, efficiently, effectively, and then finding that partner that enjoys going out to crappy homes, negotiating with homeowners. And there was a period of time where actually I did enjoy doing that. After doing it a few hundred times or a few years, I got pretty tired of going out to crappy homes, negotiating with out of their mind landlords and homeowners. Yeah, it's worth $1 million. The thing's falling in on itself. You're like, oh, what a waste of my time. But yeah, no, I know, I've been there. So yeah, and that's it. That's why obviously I have Seth Martinez, my business partner, who's completely analytical on the detail oriented end. And boy, he catches things that I don't even notice. And in our wording, in our languages, in our numbers, whatever it is, in our systems, I kind of just I just go with the flow. I have so much energy, so much momentum, and then he's very more like down to earth. Wait, we're missing a decimal point here. So really,
like me probably.
Exactly, and those decimal points are pretty important. And so that's why we make a good team there. So you have a great partner. So part of the secret to being able to move to San Diego and live a life of luxury is having a good partner, a good boots on the ground partner. That you also set up a win-win scenario. So there's a 50-50 split. You don't pay him a salary or anything like that. He's got to hustle. He's got to close deals to eat. Is that correct?
100%. Yep. And we even set it up recently where for the paid ads, because SEO, the deals are free, basically. So neither of us are paying money for them. He has to do the work and gets commission 50%, right? Good for him, because getting the deal is the hardest part. But with the paid ads, we structured it where he would actually pay for all the ads. So still zero risk, zero work, zero risk for me. And then once a deal would close, he would, get the money that he paid for marketing, and then we split it. So let's say it took $5,000 to get a $20,000 deal. He'd get his 5 back, and then we split the 15, right? So it's just a way I could pay for the ads, but I trying to keep my risk as low as possible, just because I can.
Phenomenal. That's phenomenal. And also he's going out and answering the leads and everything. So like, you got to make sure that he understands the importance of those leads and closing those leads and feeling the cost of them is going to encourage that. But no, that's a great setup. So the first thing you do is find a good partner that complements your weaknesses. And then you structured a win-win, a commission-based structure where he's actually putting out a lot of upfront cash as well and taking the risk. You started the operation, so you took the risk there. You created a system where the leads are flowing in, and he can answer the inbox every morning and move those deals to a closing table. And so it looks like you basically moved out to San Diego and figured, okay, you're really good at marketing, online marketing. So now you've created your second business, which is an online marketing company.
Yeah, basically for now, we're just doing like one product for one niche. We're doing Google ads for real estate investors, right? So basically that's it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Simple.
Okay. So that's interesting. And then what did that helps them find deals for sale or?
Yeah, sure. Like people who don't know what that is, right? So it's just for motivated sellers, right? So basically we launch a campaign for you, and like whatever market you're in, obviously we would have to vet to the person. Google ads isn't for everyone. You really have to you have to be able to spend money, and you have to be in a market that has like probably at least 500,000 people in it. If you're in rural Minnesota, you're going to get like a deal a year. Probably it might be a waste of time. So somewhat of a population side, you need a budget. and some patience. Yeah, basically we show your, like when you Google, or when a homeowner Googles sell my house fast in Chicago,
Yeah.
your ad would show up in the little top sponsored, and they click on it. You got to have the right website and the whole system and tracking and all that stuff.
Mhm.
But yeah, basically the leads come in to investors' inbox, and then the leads are super high quality, right? So the investors need to call them back within 5 or 10 minutes or so. I think on average, our clients are closing deals every 10 to 15 leads, probably closer to 10, which is kind of crazy, right? Facebook ads, direct mail. I mean, usually it's 30, 40, 50 leads a deal, but it's 10 to 15 leads a deal, which is insane. Like, so my partner, I mean, he's not doing a ton of work, because, if you're doing a deal a month, that's 10 leads a month. That's, 15 minutes every 3 days. Right. So
it's a pretty good deal for everyone. You get
it's a good deal
quality
for everybody.
Yeah, he's making bank too. Does he do this full time, or he's got another job on the side?
He just quit his job this summer, so he's doing it full time, and we're in the process of trying to figure out, like, what he wants long term. Kind of like where I was a few years ago. So
he's like,
goes,
not
you, and then it's like you're mentor, then you mentor me, and now I mentor him. It's like, just like the cycle goes on and on.
Well, whatever he does, don't let him quit, because you guys got a good thing going. And let me tell you, the grass is always greener on the other side. You guys are sitting here like, oh, I work 16 hours a week and I'm making enough to pay my bills. What do I do? Like, what do you mean? What do you do? Just keep doing what you're doing. Like, I don't know, maybe start like fixing up cars on the side or something. I don't know, do whatever you want to do. But yeah, that's funny, man. So that, it's funny how human beings are so, we're always looking for the next thing, the next level. You finally create a business that's making money, it's doing well. And he's talking about, I don't have enough. I have too much free time, I guess, right? Or not enough challenge in his life, perhaps, right?
Yeah, you're right. I got to crack the whip on him. Yeah, I'm not. He's not going anywhere. I'm not gonna let him go anywhere. That's
of course.
Sure. I got to get it set up.
Expand to more markets. If he needs to be busier, expand to more markets. And I mean, that's the great thing about real estate. There's always more of it out there, and you can always expand markets. So no, that's very cool. All right, so you've developed your second business now. You went from stapling signs to telephone poles to recognizing you are an online marketing guru, expert. And
I don't like guru. I don't
I
like the word guru.
I actually hate that word too. I was kind of making fun of you. All right, so I won't call you a guru anymore, but I will. I do want to touch base a little bit more on finding a partner. So how do you find a really good partner?
Dude, I'm glad you brought that up. It was really difficult, to be honest. And like, I'm happy for you and Seth, but like, it's a challenge, dude. Like I went, so when we moved to Delaware, I knew that we were going to be there only 5 years, because Kristen's in a research program and it's a 5-year gig. I never planned on staying in Delaware forever. So probably around year 3.5, maybe year 4, I started to look for someone to, handle the boots on the ground stuff. And I always started the business in mind with like process. So I document everything so I could plug someone in. Hey, here's a bunch of videos. Here's how to log into my systems, take notes, track everything, blah, 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 blah. I ended up going through 4 different people. The first guy was an obsessing liar. He quit after a month. He said he had the flu every week and he didn't. And then the second person, she just wanted some income so her husband can get insurance or something. I mean, it didn't work out. And then the third guy was good, but he decided he didn't want to do it anymore. He was starting a tech company. And so basically I went to Europe for when Kristen graduated, my fiance Kristen. So it was basically, I think it was spring of 2019. And we were basically, when we were moving out of Delaware, before we moved to San Diego, we were taking a trip to Europe. And I had a partner lined up at the time. And the week I got back, I had a meeting with him to check in, and then he quit. So it was like 2 weeks before we left to San Diego. I didn't have a partner anymore. And I was like, all this work and obsessive planning that I did over the last 5 years, like gone down the tubes. And I mean, that's the reality of the situation. It's super hard. And the partner I found now, but basically I was running the business myself while I was in San Diego. I was doing everything virtually. I was having my buyers go on appointments for me, the ones that I trusted. And then, not ideal, but I still could get some deals.
Wow, that was it. So you would procure the lead, have a buyer you trusted, not really have it under contract yet, be like, hey, go check out this property, tell me what you'll pay for it, basically. Or that's interesting. And
I did do that. Yeah, it's probably,
I guess if you trust them, I mean, you also knew the market, so you could kind of, if they were totally BSing you could probably call it, but
And I could get the contract on the phone too. Like I wasn't 100% trust, but like I definitely did that a few times. 100%. Yeah. You have to really trust the person. Don't recommend doing it. I wouldn't put that in a course anywhere.
Okay. Not in the course. Okay.
Not in the course. So yeah, basically the way I found my partner now was like a friend of a friend who just moved back from Texas to Delaware, and it ended up working out. But like if he ends up leaving, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like I got to find a partner again. And I don't know if you've experienced that too. Like you and Seth have a good thing. And I think once you started working together, I think when you and I started work, or when I started working for you, I should say, I think you were just starting to work with Seth or maybe beforehand, but it seems like after you guys started working together, your business kind of went up to 7 figures or whatever you're doing. So I think that, I know there's a great book called Rocket Fuel, which goes into like having like a sales vision person and then having like an operations person. And like when you have those two people, it rocket fuels your business. And it seems like that's what happened for you. Right. And it's starting to work out for me too. But you need to, the hardest part is, finding the partner and keeping them. And I don't know if there's like really a golden bullet for that.
There's absolutely no golden bullet to find a good partner. And, like any marriage, it's not always perfect. There's days you disagree. There's days, there's times one partner's doing more work than the other, or one partner's bringing more resources to the table than the other. And, there's times where Seth and I definitely butt heads, but for the most part, we're always respectful, and we really stay in our lane, kind of. We also don't have titles in our company, and this works for us. It might not work for everyone, but I don't call myself the CEO. He doesn't call himself the COO. We're both, managing members, partners of People's Capital Group. So it's not like one of us is in charge of the other. We're really on the same playing field, same level there. And that's so important when you're a partner. But, it's funny, me and him are really committed to the company. If the company needs an extra $50,000 and one of us is more flush than the other, then, we'll put it in, no questions asked, and if I need to travel, work till midnight on something or whatever it is, and get in the car and go somewhere far away or whatever, speaking engagement, then I'll make it happen. So we really have no problem going above and beyond. And when we do that for each other, we recognize it as well. And, he just closed a really difficult deal we'd been working on for like 6 years. So I told him I'm going to buy him a beer. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good deal.
Yeah. I'm going to buy him a beer. Yeah. 6 years later, he gets a beer. Yeah. So
would you say that, like, is everything 50-50 with you guys, like equity wise, company profits, that everything is
50-50. Yep.
Makes sense. So one cool thing, like if you did want to, anyone who wants to get into like the online ad space, and I guess this technically could work with anything, but it works very easily with Google Ads. We have investors that we're working with. They will leverage their network like no other. So we have a guy he's actually in New Jersey, probably a competitor of yours. And we, sorry about that, but he's launching a campaign in Augusta, Georgia, right? Because he knows someone who's a boots on the ground person there. And all he has to do is launch a marketing campaign, and then he can start getting leads, and he doesn't have to do anything. And he's not the only person. We have a lot of investors we have someone in Philly who now has a campaign in Florida, right? And all they're basically doing is they go out and network and really build trusting relationships with investors. And they'll just work out a marketing structure to split revenue, and they can scale fairly quickly across the country, because virtual wholesaling, or probably mainly wholesaling, is much easier than it used to be.
So you're not just a marketing company; you help people kind of structure the businesses, like you just explained.
Well, not really. I mean, that's kind of on them. But like, so let's say you're running ads with me, right? You're paying me a monthly fee, and I'll run the ads in whatever market you want me to do it. And then you come to me and say, hey, Tim, I want to open up in a different market. I want to open it in a second market. So then let's say we pick Chicago, and then basically I will open up that marketing system in Chicago. And then whoever your partner is in Chicago runs the leads. You split it, however you want with the marketing dollars and the revenue. But that's becoming more popular these days. I'm probably going to try to make a course on it at some point, because I think you can actually scale fairly quickly if you have good partners in different markets across the country.
Well, it kind of begs the question, though. You just made 40 grand sitting in your computer chair in San Diego. Now, the hard part was finding a good partner, it seems. The easy part was maybe developing your online marketing system. But if you got good at finding a good partner, or like teamed up with a staffing company or something like that helped connect you with the good partners, what's stopping you from breaking into all these different cities? You got the marketing machine, my friend, right?
Yeah, doing it myself. Yeah, In a way, I'm kind of doing that with an agency, but instead of structuring it like a percentage of revenue, I get
Right.
paid a flat fee. So it's a risk management thing.
Yeah.
I could do it that way,
Mhm.
100%, but you're right. I have to build trusting relationships and
Yeah.
like, yeah. So I don't know if
Well,
one's better than the other. It's harder to scale that, but I
plus you're
could.
offering the service, so you don't want to compete with your customers or anything like that, or like be taking up room in cities. So yeah, I get it. You're offering the marketing service, and that's what people come to you for. So how can business owners or real estate investors find you?
Sure, yeah. If they're interested learning about some online ads, you can go to wholesalingppc.com. Boom, I got the shirt even now. Wholesalingppc.com. Check it out. Yeah, we're there. Happy to chat with you. If nothing else, we'll hop on a basically a strategy call with you, me and my partner. My partner for this business, Tyler. Yeah, we'll walk you through like what the marketing plan should be for your market, how it would work. And you get that. I mean, that's one of the most important things of launching an internet marketing campaign in a market is like, what is the plan? We'll give that to you for free, whether you like work with us or not. So, because it's
Cool.
important, you got to have it. And
Yeah.
we have a free course if you want to check it out. You learn all about PPC completely free because we're just trying to make sure people don't call us who don't know anything. So check it out. You can learn all about the myths of PPC, pros and cons, all that kind of stuff for sure on our website,
What's your website again?
wholesalingppc.com.
Awesome. We'll definitely check that out. No,
Cool.
Tim, it's been great reconnecting with you. I love what you're doing, man. And like I said years ago, your skill set really is in online marketing. And so if you're listening to our podcast here for our listeners and you're looking to get more leads in different cities and you're an active real estate investor, then go to Tim's website here. And of course, if you're on the passive side of real estate investing, you just want to own properties like you see here behind me without running around doing all the work, and being a passive investor, enjoying the benefits of being a passive investor, then you can go to peoplescapitalgroup.com and fill out an application form, and perhaps you'll qualify to become a passive investor and invest in apartment buildings without having to do the heavy lifting. So you have your options. You might want to be an active investor. You might want to wholesale deals. Maybe you want to do it part-time. Tim's company can help you do that. Maybe you also want to invest passively in real estate that produces cash flow and tax benefits and equity growth. And it's smart to be diversified, and you want to be doing active and passive. It's always good to be diversified across all fields. But I wanted to have Tim on the show today because it's pretty cool what you're doing, pretty cool where you've come from. And we, of course, started in a sense together many years ago. So it's good to catch up here as well.
Yeah, man. Thanks. And if anyone needs bandit sign training, hit me up. I got the whole like layout, how to map out in Google Maps. Like I got it all down. So if you want to do that, probably not profitable anymore, Aaron says, but hey, I got it for you too. Thanks,
Not in
man.
North Jersey, but listen, there's this process to a
That's
good
true.
bandit signing, the right intersections, the right locations. I've hired many people to staple telephone signs to staple signs to telephone poles. And let me tell you, you're the best. So definitely put that in resume there. Great
That means a
staple.
lot.
Yeah.
I'm the bandit sign, I think chief is what you labeled me. I didn't get a promotion for that, but you called me the bandit sign chief. Remember that?
Chief bandit sign operator, we'll call you. CBSO. Nice. All right, very good, my friend. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for joining us on the Passive Cash Flow Podcast. And to our listeners, join us every week here. We have a new episode coming out. I'm your host, Aaron Fragnito, co-owner of People's Capital Group and the host of the Passive Cash Flow Podcast. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, Aaron.